Hello fellow artists, welcome back. If you're new, welcome to the channel. I'm going to be painting two studies for this video, and they're going to be seascapes, and I took a bunch of reference photos which you might see on this corner over here. And yeah, so this is essentially just me practicing, getting comfortable with the method that I want to apply for the future paintings. So let's get to it. I'm gonna be working on this small canvas just to get a general idea of shapes, composition, value, and color. I really want to focus on color as they were very insistent on having vibrant colors. And I asked them, oh, kind of like Sorolla then, just all of this liveliness to the paintings, the very colorful vibrancy, and they're like, oh yeah, exactly, like perfect reference to have. So excuse me. If you know more that are similar or that you find very interesting, drop them in the comments below. I would love to look at these artists. Let me just quickly set up. That'll do it, I suppose. I got my reference and I'm gonna start pretty simple just to get a hang of it since I haven't really painted in a week. So I'm going to be making a rough sketch . So we have a horizon about there, and my horizon is going to be very wonky, but that's okay, we can fix it with the paint on top. I want to start with the darks, and I'm going to begin here where there's the empty space, there's the dark space in between the cliffs. I'm having issues with the scaling, so this is going to be fun. And now I'll focus a bit on the blue of the ocean. Just filling in those other colors, all those other hues, shifts in value, making it from light, dark, dark to light kind of thing. I also want to focus on the brushes I'm going to be using and in what order. So I have this, which is, I believe, just a synthetic brush. And if it's not, at least what I'm trying to say is I'm using a brush that is very smooth at applying the paint. So later on, what I want to do is grab a bristle brush and add textures on top. So that's definitely something I want to keep in mind, is to add variety in the physical brushes and brush strokes that I'm going to be doing. Study, so I don't want to focus too much on the detail, but I want to get some movement, some diversity in the shapes. So I think that's a step up. I don't think it looks too bad. And now I want to focus on the rocks. Some textures in here. Using a different brush would be better, more ideal. There's a bit of a crashing waves. This is perfect because it allows me to separate the subject. Oh shoot, okay, well I'll deal with you later. Now just mixing a little bit more of those lighter values down here from the reflection, casting down, more saturation. There we go. I think I'm leaving it at that and moving on to a different one and see what else I can do. Okay, now I'm done. I need to stop. Okay. There we go. That's number 1. Let's start with the second one. It's a more intricate and interesting scene, but I believe it's gonna be fun. Again, trying to focus on the big shapes, not focus on all of the detail, and just start adding a little bit more texture and just do a little bit better than the other paintings. It takes a little bit of time and practice to get back on a roll, so let's just keep trying. I think this time I'm just gonna approach the scene directly and see how that goes. I know that's probably not the smartest thing. It could be a little bit overconfident, but we'll see. I don't know, I think I want to add a lot of brush strokes that are more movement-like, that insinuate movement. So now I want to get into the little ocean waves, but I want to get the color of the sand underneath and the reflection on of the sky. It's very weird and tricky because at this point we just want to focus on what the colors are. Maybe we could even go by, by layers. Like, oh, this is what the sand color would be like, this is what the sky is. So in the front, I can bring these colors more, but the further it goes in the back, the water is gonna be thicker and there's gonna be more sky reflection. So that's the logic I'm approaching this section with. And then we can focus on the water on top. We can bring in the deeper valleys a little bit. It's gonna be harder. And I'm gonna make these rocks over here deeper blue rather than brown, because the water's on top, the water's giving them the blue hue. And we can have, if I were to focus, this would look a lot better. And we have the wet sand, which is very reflective. All right, let's add the waves and see if it can bring it together. I want to see if I can add some of these thicker textures, or I don't know. I'm just gonna play around with the bristle brush and see how things go. I don't know how much of the second painting actually got in the video. I realized that the camera had died, unfortunately. Anyway, right now I'm going to attempt a third painting because I wasn't exactly happy with the results before. I mean, I'm happy that I did them. I'm happy of the progress, but I'm feeling in the mood to do one more. And I'll walk you through a little bit more what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be using these 3 brushes. One that I haven't shown before, which still has the price tag. Oh gosh. €9 for this thing, €9.43. I believe it's synthetic, and if not, it's very smooth bristle. But yeah, I believe it's just synthetic and very flat, as you can see. Then I'll be using the ones that I've been using for this video, a nice synthetic brush and a bristle brush that is round and tiny. For additional texture, I'll also be using a palette knife. I found a palette knife. I can't find my smaller one, so this is the one I'm gonna be using. So it should be big and small enough to do certain things texturizing wise. I'm gonna sketch the painting and I'll walk you through what I do after that. What I do want to quickly mention, it's just a matter of laying down the main shapes. As you might have seen already, there's no pressure when I'm doing these. And right now I don't have the pressure of time either, other than I don't want to spend 3 hours doing this. I just want to spend about 30 minutes to 1 hour doing these. I'm not trying to be exact with the image. I'm just trying to get an overall sense of what I'm looking at. Because once you try to do an exact copy, you kind of lose the creativity. You become too focused on what's there rather than the possibilities that you have by simply taking inspiration of it, of the reference. It is still useful though, if you want to copy completely. However, I do believe it's better to just leave it up to your own creativity to figure out a way to bring to life and your own abilities what you see. I hope that made sense. If not, I'll say it in this way. Be creative. Don't limit yourself to what's in front of you. Let your creativity do your own talking rather than letting the subject of reference do your own talking. And we'll see if I can apply it. So I'm gonna lay down the main colors that I'm seeing, and I'm gonna try to accentuate certain things that I didn't do before in the other paintings, such as more color perhaps, more color variation, or even more vibrancy, which I missed in the previous times. The sky is lighter than the ocean in this case, and in many cases. The sky usually is the lighter one. And I'm seeing there's a bit more magenta because there's magenta, I have a different type of quinaroche right now, or quinacridone. So maybe I exaggerated a bit. I want to see how that's gonna look. And actually, let me switch up the brush because I want to try the bigger one. The sky, by the way, always has that gradient. It does shift from darker to lighter. Oh my god, so much easier to cover ground. Why didn't I start like this before? Who knows? And it still looks very dark, so I'm gonna add more white now. A little bit of that yellow, very little. A bit of the magenta, not too much. Yeah, we see a nice gradient now. I'm gonna focus on some of the clouds. And I can't see well, but it's just a hint. And now I'm gonna grab a darker color blue to line magenta, to line the clouds. Well, I guess I can always lighten the sky. It will still have the gradient, but not so dark. We can add some lighter bits of the clouds. I think there's a very gorgeous one like that. Just subtle detail. And it's not even detailed at all. It's just an impression, if you will. There's a bit more clouds that are coming back up here. I want to get the color under the waves and around the waves first. So let's see how that goes. We just need to localize the color and then work our way around it. start getting closer to those waves. Again, may not look great now, may not look great later, but let's get the process correctly. I'm gonna be adding the highlights in a moment, because on top is gonna go the very texturized palette knife. How's that looking so far? Terrible? Good. We're kind of getting there. I'm gonna get a few darker areas around here, especially where there's the water coming in and there's the reflection of the stones and the sky there. Oh, I'm forgetting a few stones here. So I'm gonna try now to accentuate the darkest areas of the rocks so that I don't get too lost. Hint at the different breaking points of each rock. Okay, well, I'm not loving these, but I'm gonna add some of the lighter values. More or less, it should be darker to contrast it, but the way I'm gonna go about it instead is just by adding the palette knife textures of whiteness and adjust the white values that are surrounding the rock so that they look lighter, so that the water looks lighter than the rocks by a lot. Maybe we appreciate this choice, maybe not. We'll find out. The crashing waves are really helping with the definition and the scene of what we're looking at, and it's really, really good to see it come to life like this. It's a lot better, if I do say so myself. I did misplace those, so I'm just gonna create a different wave pattern over here. So then there's just more waves. So now I want to do something similar to what I've been doing, but with blues, with a lighter blue. And now I want to try something again. I'm just gonna make a dark color. Oh, too much texture. I think the extra detail with the palette is really helping it. Of the shadows, I think accentuating some of them is helpful. And it does help to texturize the work so that you don't have to do too much detail physically. You can just give an impression of detail like the Impressionists did, kind of like I was talking about with Sorolla. His paintings were a lot bigger than what this is, especially since this is a study, but I quite like this. I realized there's something I want to do, and it is to break apart this area. I quite like that's what's happening in the reference photo. It's giving a breakage point. I really want to bring the sky to life a bit. Maybe not too much, because otherwise it might take away from the ocean. I think that's subtle enough and not too texturized that it removes attention from the bottom part, since the bottom part is so boom. I quite like this. I'm gonna add just the one little wave that I see in the reference photo right there, and I think that oh wait, I forgot the shadows here. Just a bit of contrast. A bit of contrast at the bottom where it's touching with the water. Okay, now I'm done. We're good to go. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Let me know down in the comments which one you like best. I already know which one I like better, but the whole point of this was to gradually get more used to it, be playful with the process, get in that cycle of enjoying the process of painting. I haven't done any seascape in a really long time, or water-based body of water. I haven't done any body of water type of work in a long time. So this was fun. It's very liberating to just be playful, be curious how you can do certain brush marks, be curious about how you can change the composition, how you can change a subject, how you can change a reference. I believe that's part of the fun, and it was certainly very relaxing to do these. So gradually incorporating more texture definitely brings about more visual interest. So yeah, this was fun. I hope you got something out of it. If there's something you would like me to do a painting study of, let me know down in the comments below. I'll get to it. And until then, happy painting. Bye!